I was sitting in the waiting room at Riverside Community Medical Center, watching my 16-year-old son Tyler practice his breathing exercises with Dr. Amanda Foster. Tyler has been on the autism spectrum since he was 3, and these weekly sessions had become our anchor point, the one constant in a world that often felt overwhelming for both of us. His college fund, carefully built over 16 years through birthday money, holiday gifts, and every spare dollar Emma and I could manage, had grown to $180,000. It represented hope, independence, and Tyler's future. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. My phone buzzed against my leg, a text from Kevin, my brother-in-law. Without thinking, I glanced at the screen and felt my world tilt sideways. Thanks for the loan, bro. Tyler won't miss what he never knew he had. Investment opportunity of a lifetime. Attached was a photo of Kevin grinning beside a red Mustang convertible, keys dangling from his fingers. The fluorescent lights in Dr. Foster's office seemed to dim as I stared at Tyler, completely absorbed in his session, unaware that his entire future had just been stolen. Tyler had always been particular about routines, about knowing what came next. We'd spent countless evenings talking about college, about the special programs designed for students like him, about how his savings account was growing and would give him choices. Emma and I had sacrificed family vacations, new cars, even our own retirement contributions to make sure Tyler would have opportunities. Dr. Foster was guiding Tyler through a social interaction exercise, helping him practice making eye contact and responding to questions about his interests. Tyler's face lit up as he talked about his fascination with train schedules and his dream of studying transportation logistics. He'd discovered this passion 2 years ago, and we'd researched programs at colleges across California that could nurture his unique way of thinking. The account at First National Bank wasn't just money to us. It was Tyler's independence, his chance to build a life on his own terms. I tried to process Kevin's message. What loan? I'd never authorized any loan, especially not from Tyler's protected account. Kevin knew about the savings because Emma had mentioned it during family dinners, proud of how we'd managed to set aside money despite the constant medical expenses and specialized tutoring costs. Kevin always seemed supportive, asking thoughtful questions about Tyler's progress and even contributing to the fund during holidays. He'd been part of our family for 8 years, since marrying Emma's sister Sarah. He worked in finance, or at least that's what he told everyone, and often gave unsolicited advice about investments and market opportunities. My hands shook as I typed back. What are you talking about? I never authorized any loan from Tyler's account. The response came immediately. Come on, David, don't play dumb. Sarah signed the paperwork. It's all legal. This crypto mining venture is going to triple the money in 6 months. Tyler will thank us later. Sarah had power of attorney over some of Tyler's affairs, something we'd arranged years ago in case Emma and I were ever unable to make decisions. But Sarah would never access Tyler's college fund without discussing it with us first. She understood how carefully we'd planned every aspect of Tyler's financial future. The account was specifically structured as a special needs trust to protect Tyler's eligibility for certain benefits, while ensuring he'd have resources for education and independent living. I excused myself from the therapy session, kissing Tyler's forehead and promising to be back in a few minutes. In the hallway, my fingers trembling, I called First National Bank. Michelle Torres, our longtime account representative, answered after 2 rings. David, I was actually planning to call you. There's been some unusual activity on Tyler's account that triggered our fraud prevention system. Someone transferred money out, I said, my voice barely steady. $180,000 was moved to an external account 3 hours ago. The authorization came through our online banking system using credentials registered to Sarah Chen. But David, here's what's concerning us. The transfer was initiated from an IP address in Nevada, but according to our records, Sarah should be in California. Plus, the receiving account is flagged in our system as potentially fraudulent. I felt the hospital walls closing in around me. Michelle, Sarah didn't authorize this. Someone used her identity. This is Tyler's college fund, his entire future. David, I need you to come to the bank immediately. Don't use any online banking or make any calls about this except to law enforcement. We've already frozen the receiving account, but time is critical. Also, bring Tyler's legal guardianship papers and any documentation about who has legitimate access to his accounts. The drive to First National felt endless. I called Emma, who was managing our auto repair shop, and tried to explain what was happening. Her initial disbelief quickly turned to fury when she realized her own brother had targeted our disabled son. Kevin knows Tyler's vulnerabilities, she said, her voice breaking. He knows Tyler trusts family completely and wouldn't understand being stolen from. How could anyone do this to a child who depends on us for everything? At the bank, Michelle led me to a private office where Detective James Parker was already waiting. Mr. Chen, we've been tracking a pattern of financial fraud targeting families with special needs children. The perpetrators specifically look for accounts like Tyler's because they're often less frequently monitored, and the families are dealing with so many other stresses. You're saying this is organized? I asked. We believe so. The account that received Tyler's money is connected to similar thefts in Arizona and Oregon, families with disabled children, trusted family members with access, sudden transfers to cryptocurrency investments that don't exist. Detective Parker pulled out a tablet. Mr. Chen, we'd like to show you something that might be difficult to watch, but it could be crucial evidence. Michelle pulled up the bank security footage from that morning. The timestamp showed 9:47 a.m., exactly when Tyler and I had been arriving at Dr. Foster's office. On the screen, Kevin walked confidently into the bank, approached a teller, and presented what appeared to be legitimate identification and authorization documents. He filled out paperwork, made small talk with the teller, and even smiled for the security camera as if he had every right to be accessing Tyler's account. The documents he presented were sophisticated forgeries, Michelle explained. But watch his body language. This isn't someone nervous about committing fraud. This is someone who's done this before. Detective Parker paused the security footage and leaned forward in his chair. The image of Kevin, frozen on the screen, mid-conversation with the bank teller, felt surreal. This was the same man who'd attended Tyler's birthday parties, who'd patiently listened to Tyler explain train schedules for hours, who'd helped us move furniture when we renovated Tyler's bedroom to better accommodate his sensory needs. The cognitive dissonance was overwhelming. Mr. Chen, we need to discuss something that might be hard to hear, Detective Parker continued. Based on what we're seeing here and the sophistication of these forged documents, this wasn't a spontaneous decision. Planning something like this requires weeks, possibly months of preparation. Michelle Torres opened a thick file folder on her desk. David, I pulled Tyler's account history going back 6 months. There have been several concerning incidents that we initially attributed to system glitches or user error. She spread out printed statements across the conference table. Look at these login attempts. Starting in March, someone tried to access Tyler's account online 14 different times using incorrect passwords. Each attempt was from a different device, suggesting the person was testing various password combinations. I studied the papers, recognizing the dates. March was when Kevin had started visiting more frequently, always with reasonable excuses. He'd helped me install new security cameras at the auto shop, claiming he was worried about break-ins in the neighborhood. He'd offered to help Tyler set up a more sophisticated online banking profile, saying it would teach him financial responsibility. Emma and I had appreciated his involvement, especially since Tyler connected with so few adults outside our immediate family. The breakthrough came in late April, Michelle continued, pointing to a successful login marked in green. Someone accessed Tyler's account and spent 47 minutes reviewing all his financial information. They downloaded statements, checked beneficiary information, and researched the account's transfer limits. But they didn't move any money that day. Detective Parker pulled out his notebook. Mr. Chen, can you think of any time in late April when Kevin would have had access to personal information about Tyler's accounts? Maybe when you weren't home, or when he was helping with paperwork? The memory hit me like cold water. April 28th. Emma had been hospitalized overnight for appendicitis, and I'd been staying with her at the medical center. Kevin had volunteered to stay at our house with Tyler, handling his evening routine and making sure he got to school the next morning. Tyler functioned best with familiar people during disruptions to his schedule, and Kevin was one of the few adults Tyler genuinely trusted. He stayed overnight with Tyler when Emma was in the hospital, I said slowly. Tyler keeps all his important documents in a file box in his closet. bank statements, social security information, his special needs trust paperwork. Kevin knew where everything was, because he'd helped Tyler organize the filing system months earlier. Michelle nodded grimly. That timeline matches perfectly. The successful login happened at 11:43 p.m. on April 28th. Tyler would have been asleep, and Kevin would have had unrestricted access to everything he needed. Detective Parker made notes. What's particularly calculated about this approach is how he used Tyler's disability against him. Children with autism often have difficulty recognizing deception, especially from trusted family members. Kevin likely understood that Tyler wouldn't question unusual financial conversations or notice if paperwork went missing temporarily. I thought about Tyler's trusting nature, how he took people at face value and believed what adults told him. Kevin had exploited that innocence deliberately. Tyler always asks me about his college fund when we review his bank statements together. It's part of his monthly routine. He likes knowing the exact balance and calculating how much it grows each month. Kevin knew that Tyler would notice the money was gone. Which brings us to another concerning element, Michelle said. The timing of today's theft wasn't random. Kevin waited until you and Tyler would be at drive. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Foster's appointment. Ensuring you'd be occupied and less likely to check account balances immediately. He also structured the transfer to occur during banking hours, when it would process quickly, rather than being held overnight for additional verification. Detective Parker showed me his tablet screen. Mr. Chen, we've been coordinating with federal authorities because this appears to be part of a larger operation. Kevin isn't working alone. The receiving account in Nevada belongs to a company called Desert Mountain Investments, which our colleagues have been investigating for cryptocurrency fraud targeting vulnerable populations. The scope of the betrayal kept expanding. This wasn't just Kevin making a desperate mistake or falling for a scam himself. He was actively participating in a criminal enterprise that specifically targeted families like ours. How many other families has he done this to? We're still investigating, but preliminary evidence suggests at least 6 other cases across 3 states. All involved family members with access to special needs accounts, and all used similar forgery techniques and transfer methods. Detective Parker's expression was stern. Mr. Chen, Kevin Rodriguez isn't just someone who made a bad decision. He's a predator who systematically targets disabled individuals and their families. Michelle pulled up another screen on her computer. David, I want to show you something else from our security footage. This is from 2 weeks ago when Kevin came in to ask about Tyler's account features. The video showed Kevin speaking with a different teller, asking detailed questions about transfer limits, international wire capabilities, and the bank's fraud detection systems. He was conducting reconnaissance, Detective Parker explained, learning exactly how much he could steal and what methods would trigger security alerts. The teller remembered the conversation because Kevin claimed he was helping Tyler plan for college expenses. But his questions were more focused on moving money quickly than on education planning. I watched Kevin on the screen, taking notes as the teller explained various banking procedures. His demeanor was friendly and professional, exactly the persona he'd always shown our family. How long has he been planning this specific theft? Based on the evidence we have, Kevin has been actively preparing to steal Tyler's money for at least 4 months. The initial password attempts, the overnight access to Tyler's documents, the reconnaissance visits to the bank, and today's execution all represent different phases of a sophisticated fraud operation. Michelle closed Tyler's file and looked at me directly. David, there's something else you need to know. When Kevin executed the transfer this morning, he didn't just steal Tyler's college fund. He also attempted to access Tyler's supplemental Social Security benefits account. That transfer was blocked by our automated systems because it required additional authorizations, but Kevin had all the necessary personal information to complete that theft as well. The realization was staggering. Kevin hadn't just stolen Tyler's college savings. He'd tried to take money that Tyler depended on for basic living expenses. Those Social Security benefits helped cover Tyler's therapy costs, specialized education programs, and medical expenses that insurance didn't fully cover. Without that support, Tyler's quality of life would be drastically compromised. Detective Parker stood up and paced to the window. Mr. Chen, we need to move quickly on several fronts. First, we're coordinating with Nevada authorities to freeze all accounts connected to Desert Mountain Investments. Second, we're obtaining warrants for Kevin's financial records to identify other victims and recover additional stolen funds. Third, we need your permission to monitor any communications between Kevin and your family members. What about Tyler? I asked. How do I explain to him that his uncle stole his future? Tyler doesn't understand betrayal or deception. He's going to be devastated that someone he trusted would hurt him. Michelle's expression softened. David, we work with many special needs families, and we've seen how financial fraud affects these children. The most important thing is maintaining Tyler's sense of security while protecting him from further exploitation. We can arrange for a victim advocate who specializes in communicating with individuals on the autism spectrum. Detective Parker returned to his seat. Mr. Chen, I know this is overwhelming, but we have an opportunity here. Kevin doesn't know that we've identified the fraud this quickly or that we've frozen the receiving accounts. He's probably expecting several days before anyone notices the missing money. That gives us a tactical advantage in building our case and potentially recovering funds for other victims. My phone buzzed with another text from Kevin. Dave, don't stress about the paperwork. Sarah will explain everything tonight. This investment is going to change Tyler's life for the better. Trust me. Reading those words after everything I'd learned made me physically ill. Kevin was still trying to manipulate me, still acting as if he cared about Tyler's welfare while actively destroying it. Detective Parker, what happens next? We're going to catch him, Mr. Chen, and we're going to make sure Tyler gets his money back. Detective Parker's radio crackled to life as we sat in the bank's conference room. Unit 47 to Detective Parker. We've got eyes on the suspect vehicle at Sunset Gardens apartment complex. Red Mustang convertible, Nevada plates, parked in space 15B. No movement observed. My stomach dropped. Kevin was still in Riverside, probably celebrating his theft while Tyler sat in Dr. Foster's office, completely unaware that his future had been stolen. Detective Parker responded quickly into his radio. Maintain surveillance. Do not approach. We need more evidence before we move. Michelle Torres had been working furiously on her computer while the detective coordinated with his team. David, I have both good and troubling news. The good news is that Desert Mountain Investments is a known fraudulent entity, and our federal partners have been building a case against them for months. Because of that ongoing investigation, they've already obtained court orders to freeze associated accounts. Tyler's money is secure and won't disappear into the cryptocurrency market. I felt a wave of relief, but Michelle's expression warned me that complications remained. What's the troubling news? Kevin's transfer was the final piece of evidence federal investigators needed to make arrests, but that means Tyler's case is now part of a much larger federal investigation, involving millions of dollars in stolen funds. Recovery might take months instead of days, and Tyler will need to provide testimony as a victim witness. The thought of Tyler having to testify in court made my chest tighten. Tyler struggled with unexpected changes to his routine and became overwhelmed in unfamiliar environments. The justice system wasn't designed for someone with his specific needs. Tyler has difficulty with loud noises, crowded spaces, and answering questions from strangers. A courtroom would be terrifying for him. Detective Parker looked up from his radio. Mr. Chen, federal prosecutors have experience accommodating witnesses with disabilities. They can arrange for closed-circuit testimony, allow Tyler to have support persons present, and modify questioning techniques to work with his communication style. But right now, we need to focus on protecting Tyler from further harm. My phone rang. Emma's name appeared on the screen, and I answered immediately. David, where are you? Tyler's therapy session ended 20 minutes ago, and Dr. Foster said you stepped out. Tyler is getting anxious because his routine is disrupted. I'm at the bank dealing with Kevin's theft. Can you pick up Tyler and take him home? Don't mention anything about the money yet. I need to figure out how to explain this to him properly. Kevin called me 10 minutes ago, Emma said, her voice tight with anger. He wanted to know if I'd talk to you today. When I asked him why, he said something about a business investment and that you might be confused about some paperwork. David, he's still trying to manipulate the situation. Detective Parker gestured for me to put the call on speaker. Emma, this is Detective Parker with Riverside PD. We need to ask you not to communicate with Kevin until we've completed our investigation. He's likely trying to gauge how much we know and whether his theft has been discovered. Officer, Kevin is my brother. I've known him for 34 years. How could he steal from Tyler? Tyler adores Kevin. Last month, Kevin spent 2 hours helping Tyler memorize train schedules, just because Tyler wanted to share his hobby with someone. Michelle Torres leaned toward the phone. Mrs. Chen, we're seeing evidence that Kevin has been planning this theft for months. The affection he showed Tyler was likely part of his strategy to maintain access and avoid suspicion. Predators often invest significant time building trust with their intended victims. I could hear Emma crying softly through the phone. Tyler is going to be so hurt. He doesn't understand why people lie or steal. In his world, family members protect each other. Kevin has destroyed Tyler's ability to trust. Detective Parker's radio buzzed again. Detective, we've got movement. Suspect is loading multiple suitcases into the Mustang. Appears to be preparing for departure. Maintain visual contact. I'm en route. Detective Parker stood up quickly. Mr. Chen, we need to arrest Kevin before he leaves California. Once he crosses state lines, this becomes significantly more complicated. Michelle was still working on her computer. David, I'm seeing additional concerning activity. Kevin attempted to access 3 other accounts this morning using Tyler's personal information. He tried to open a credit card in Tyler's name, apply for a personal loan using Tyler as a co-signer, and access Tyler's health savings account. All were denied because of verification requirements, but Kevin has enough of Tyler's personal information to commit comprehensive identity theft. The scope of Kevin's betrayal kept expanding. He hadn't just stolen Tyler's college fund, he'd attempted to destroy Tyler's financial identity entirely. How much personal information does he have access to? Everything, I realized with growing horror. Kevin helped us set up Tyler's special needs trust last year. He has Tyler's social security number, birth certificate information, medical records, and even knows Tyler's personal preferences for security questions. Kevin could impersonate Tyler for years. Detective Parker paused at the conference room door. Mr. Chen, federal investigators will help Tyler obtain new identification documents and monitor his credit reports. But right now, we need to focus on Kevin's arrest. I'm going to coordinate the takedown, and I need you to stay here with Michelle until we have Kevin in custody. My phone buzzed with another text from Kevin. Dave, Sarah is freaking out about some bank notifications. Can you call her and explain that everything is fine? The investment paperwork got processed faster than expected, but the returns are going to be amazing. I showed the message to Michelle, who immediately called someone at the bank's fraud department. This confirms that Kevin is actively monitoring the situation and trying to control the narrative. He's probably hoping to buy time to complete his escape before anyone realizes the true scope of his crimes. Detective Parker was coordinating with multiple units through his radio. Units 12 and 47. Maintain perimeter around Sunset Gardens. Unit 23. Coordinate with federal agents at the courthouse. We're executing the arrest warrant in 15 minutes. Michelle pulled up another screen on her computer. David, I want to show you something that might help you understand how sophisticated Kevin's operation was. The screen displayed a timeline of account activities going back 8 months. Kevin has been systematically gathering information about Tyler's financial situation since last October. He researched special needs trust regulations, studied Tyler's spending patterns, and even inquired about college savings plan tax implications. He was planning this before Tyler's birthday, I said, recognizing the October timeline. Kevin gave Tyler a generous gift last year and made a big show of encouraging Tyler to save money for college. He was already planning to steal it. What's particularly cruel is how Kevin used Tyler's disability to facilitate the theft. Children with autism often have excellent memories for details, but struggle with understanding deception. Kevin likely knew that Tyler would remember exact account balances and notice discrepancies, but wouldn't suspect that a trusted family member was stealing from him. Detective Parker's radio crackled with urgent updates. Detective, suspect is moving toward his vehicle. Should we intercept? Not yet. Let him load his belongings. We want to catch him in the act of fleeing, which supports federal charges of interstate flight to avoid prosecution. I thought about Tyler, probably at home now with Emma, completely unaware that his life was being torn apart. Tyler thrived on predictability and security. He had charts on his bedroom wall showing his college savings growth, lists of potential schools he wanted to visit, and detailed plans for his future career in transportation logistics. Kevin hadn't just stolen money. He'd shattered Tyler's carefully constructed understanding of how the world worked. Michelle's phone rang, and she answered quickly. Federal agent Lisa Kim is here. She'll be taking lead on the investigation moving forward. A woman in a dark suit entered the conference room, carrying a briefcase and looking extremely serious. Mr. Chen, I'm Agent Kim with the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. Kevin Rodriguez's theft of Tyler's money was the final piece we needed to arrest 7 individuals involved in a multi-state fraud ring targeting special needs families. Your son's case is going to help us recover millions of dollars for dozens of victims. What happens to Tyler now? Tyler's money will be returned, likely within 30 days. But Mr. Chen, we need Tyler's help to prosecute these criminals. Kevin and his associates have stolen from at least 43 families with disabled children across 6 states. Tyler's testimony could put them away for decades and prevent them from targeting other vulnerable families. Agent Kim opened her briefcase and showed me photographs of other victims, children with various disabilities, all of whom had trusted family members or caretakers who'd stolen their savings. These families thought they were alone, that they'd somehow failed to protect their children. Tyler's courage in participating in this prosecution will help all of them understand that this wasn't their fault. Detective Parker's voice came through the radio with urgency. Suspect is in the vehicle and moving toward the complex exit. All units, prepare for arrest. Through the conference room window, I could see police cars positioning themselves around the bank. Agent Kim checked her watch. Mr. Chen, in approximately 5 minutes, we're going to arrest the man who stole your son's future. But I need you to understand something important. This arrest is just the beginning. Kevin Rodriguez and his criminal network have caused immeasurable damage to families like yours. The real work of seeking justice and helping these families rebuild is just starting. My phone rang again. This time it was Dr. Foster. Mr. Chen, Tyler is asking about you. He's concerned that something unexpected happened because you didn't return to the session as promised. I think it would be helpful if you could speak with him. Tyler, it's Dad. I'm sorry I couldn't come back to Dr. Foster's office. Something important came up that I had to handle. Dad, is everything okay? Mom seems upset, and Uncle Kevin called and sounded different than usual. Did something bad happen? Looking at Agent Kim and Michelle, surrounded by evidence of Kevin's betrayal, I struggled to find words that would protect Tyler's innocence while preparing him for the difficult conversations ahead. Tyler, we're going to need to have a serious talk when I get home, but I want you to know that Mom and I love you very much, and we're going to make sure everything is okay. Dad, is Uncle Kevin in trouble? The question hung in the air as Detective Parker's radio announced, suspect is in custody. Kevin Rodriguez has been arrested. Agent Kim closed her phone after receiving confirmation of Kevin's arrest and turned to me with a grave expression. Mr. Chen, Kevin Rodriguez wasn't cooperative during his arrest. In fact, his reaction suggests this operation extends beyond what we initially suspected. She pulled out a tablet and showed me a message that had been intercepted from Kevin's phone just before his arrest. The text read, "Package delivered. Moving to Phase 2. Notify the Phoenix contact." The message was sent to a number registered in Arizona, but what made my blood run cold was the timestamp. Kevin had sent this message at 2:47 p.m., nearly an hour after Detective Parker and Agent Kim knew about the theft. Kevin wasn't just fleeing. He was communicating with accomplices about additional criminal activities. Michelle Torres had been monitoring Tyler's accounts continuously since we'd discovered the theft. David, we've identified 3 more attempted breaches in the last 2 hours. Someone is still trying to access Tyler's secondary accounts using sophisticated hacking software. Kevin gave them everything they needed to continue targeting Tyler even after his arrest. The realization hit me like a physical blow. Kevin's theft wasn't an isolated incident or even just part of the federal fraud case Agent Kim had described. Tyler was still being actively targeted by criminals who now possessed enough personal information to impersonate him indefinitely. How is that possible? Kevin is in custody. Agent Kim's expression darkened as she scrolled through her tablet. Kevin was carrying 2 phones when arrested. One was his personal device that he used to communicate with your family. The other was an encrypted phone containing contacts for 17 different criminal associates across 9 states. Mr. Chen, your brother-in-law wasn't just participating in financial fraud. He was recruiting and coordinating other criminals to target special needs families. Detective Parker entered the conference room, looking exhausted but determined. Kevin's apartment search yielded disturbing evidence. We found detailed files on 12 families with disabled children, including complete financial profiles, medical information, and what appears to be psychological assessments of the children's vulnerabilities. Tyler's file was the most comprehensive, containing photographs of your home, copies of Tyler's medical records, and even transcripts of conversations Tyler had with Kevin about his future plans. The violation felt overwhelming. Kevin hadn't just stolen money. He'd been systematically documenting Tyler's entire life for criminal purposes. He took pictures of our house, exterior and interior photographs, including Tyler's bedroom and the locations where you store important documents. Kevin documented your family's daily routines, Tyler's therapy schedule, and even noted when Tyler would be most vulnerable to manipulation. Detective Parker sat down heavily. Mr. Chen, Kevin Rodriguez studied your son like a predator studies prey. My phone rang insistently. Emma's name appeared, and I could hear Tyler's voice in the background, agitated and asking repeated questions. David, you need to come home immediately. Tyler saw police cars on the news, and he's having a panic attack. He keeps asking if Uncle Kevin is hurt and why the police took him away. I don't know what to tell him. Agent Kim leaned toward the phone. Mrs. Chen, this is Agent Kim with the FBI. We need to discuss Tyler's safety before Mr. Chen returns home. Kevin Rodriguez was working with a criminal network that specifically targets families like yours. Tyler may still be in danger from Kevin's associates. Emma's voice became strained. What kind of danger? Tyler is just a 16-year-old boy with autism. Why would criminals want to hurt him? Michelle Torres opened Tyler's account files on her computer. Mrs. Chen, special needs children often have substantial government benefits, carefully managed savings accounts, and legal protections that criminals can exploit. Tyler's financial profile makes him an attractive target for identity theft, benefit fraud, and long-term financial manipulation. I could hear Tyler in the background, his voice rising with anxiety. Mom, why are you talking about me? Did I do something wrong? Is that why Uncle Kevin got arrested? The pain in Tyler's voice cut through everything else. Tyler processed information literally and directly. He would blame himself for Kevin's arrest unless we explained the situation carefully. Emma, put Tyler on the phone. Dad, I don't understand what's happening. Uncle Kevin was supposed to help me practice for my college interview next week. Mom won't tell me why he can't come over anymore. Did Uncle Kevin do something bad? Agent Kim handed me a notepad with suggested language for communicating with Tyler. The FBI had protocols for explaining criminal victimization to individuals with developmental disabilities, focusing on reassurance and clear, concrete information. Tyler, Uncle Kevin made some very bad choices about money that weren't your fault. The police arrested him because he took money that didn't belong to him. You didn't do anything wrong, and you're not in trouble. Did Uncle Kevin take my college money? The direct question demanded an honest answer. Tyler couldn't process ambiguous explanations or gentle deflections. Yes, Tyler. Uncle Kevin took money from your college account without permission, but the police and the bank are working to get your money back. Tyler was quiet for several seconds, processing this information. Dad, if Uncle Kevin took my money, does that mean I can't go to college? I've been planning my classes and everything. Tyler, you're still going to college. We're going to make sure you have everything you need for your future. Uncle Kevin's bad choices don't change your plans. Agent Kim was writing rapidly on her notepad, then showed me another message. Mr. Chen, we need to discuss relocating your family temporarily. Kevin's criminal associates know where you live, and they have detailed information about Tyler's routines. Until we arrest the entire network, Tyler could be at risk. Detective Parker's radio buzzed with an urgent update. Detective, we've got a situation at the Chen residence. Unmarked van has been circling the block for the last 20 minutes. Occupants appear to be conducting surveillance. My heart stopped. Emma and Tyler were at home, unaware that criminals might be watching them. Emma, I need you and Tyler to leave the house immediately. Go to your sister's place and don't tell anyone where you're going. David, you're scaring me. What's happening? Agent Kim took the phone. Mrs. Chen, this is Agent Kim. We have reason to believe that associates of Kevin Rodriguez may be monitoring your home. We need you and Tyler to leave immediately for your safety. Pack only essential items and go somewhere that Kevin wouldn't know about. Tyler won't understand sudden changes to his routine. He'll have a meltdown if I try to rush him out of the house without explanation. Michelle Torres had been monitoring police communications on her computer. Mrs. Chen, the surveillance van just left your neighborhood, but we don't know if they'll return. You have a window of opportunity to leave safely. Agent Kim's phone rang, and she answered quickly. Agent Kim. Yes, I understand. How many associates? Okay, we're implementing protection protocols immediately. She hung up and looked at me with unprecedented seriousness. Mr. Chen, Kevin Rodriguez's arrest triggered communications across his entire criminal network. We've intercepted messages indicating that Tyler is considered a, quote, high-value target because of the amount of financial and personal information Kevin gathered about him. What does that mean? It means Kevin's associates view Tyler as an ongoing source of criminal opportunity. They have enough information to impersonate Tyler for years, potentially stealing government benefits, opening fraudulent accounts, and even using Tyler's identity to commit crimes. Mr. Chen, your son needs federal protection. Detective Parker was coordinating rapidly with multiple agencies through his radio. Federal marshals are en route to escort your family to a secure location. This isn't just about recovering Tyler's stolen money anymore. Kevin Rodriguez and his network pose an active threat to Tyler's safety and future. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. David, this is Sarah. Kevin asked me to tell you that he's sorry about the confusion with Tyler's account. He says the investment opportunity fell through, but he'll have Tyler's money back by tomorrow. Please don't involve the police anymore. I showed the message to Agent Kim, who immediately called her technical team. Kevin is still coordinating with his associates from jail, probably through another inmate or a corrupted guard. Sarah is unknowingly being used as a communication channel. Sarah doesn't know about Kevin's criminal activities. Your sister-in-law is likely another victim. Kevin probably convinced her that he was helping Tyler while actually stealing from him. We see this pattern frequently. Criminals manipulate multiple family members to maintain cover for their activities. Detective Parker received another radio update. Detective, federal marshals are at the Chen residence. Mrs. Chen and Tyler are being escorted to a secure location. Both subjects are cooperative, but the minor is showing signs of significant stress. Agent Kim packed her briefcase efficiently. Mr. Chen, we're moving you to the same secure location as your family. Tyler will need familiar faces while we work to dismantle Kevin's criminal network and ensure his long-term safety. As we prepared to leave the bank, Michelle Torres handed me a thick folder. David, these are copies of all Tyler's account records and our fraud investigation findings. You'll need this documentation for federal prosecutors and for Tyler's future financial planning. I want you to know that First National Bank is committed to supporting Tyler throughout this process. Agent Kim escorted me toward a waiting federal vehicle. Mr. Chen, what happens next will be difficult for your entire family. But I want you to understand something important. Tyler's case is going to help us protect dozens of other special needs children from criminals, like Kevin Rodriguez. Your son's courage in surviving this victimization will make a difference for families across the country. As we drove toward the secure location where Emma and Tyler were waiting, I thought about how dramatically our lives had changed in just a few hours. This morning, Tyler had been excited about his therapy session and his college plans. Tonight, he was under federal protection because a trusted family member had targeted him for systematic criminal exploitation. Agent Kim's phone rang constantly as she coordinated with various law enforcement agencies. "Mr. Chen, we're learning more about Kevin's network every hour. This investigation is going to take months, possibly years to complete. Tyler's testimony will be crucial, but we'll make sure he has every support he needs." The secure location turned out to be a federal safe house designed for witness protection. As we approached the building, I wondered how Tyler was processing these unprecedented changes to his routine and environment. Tyler needed predictability and security to function well, and Kevin's crimes had shattered both. Agent Kim checked her phone one more time before we entered the building. "Mr. Chen, Kevin Rodriguez just attempted to post bail. His associates have provided $500,000 to secure his release. We're fighting the bail application, but you need to know that Kevin may be back on the streets within days." The federal safe house looked like an ordinary suburban home from the outside, but inside, every window had reinforced glass, and discreet security cameras monitored all entry points. Agent Kim led me through a security checkpoint where I had to surrender my phone temporarily while technicians checked it for tracking software. "Mr. Chen, Kevin's network has sophisticated surveillance capabilities. We can't risk them locating Tyler through compromised devices." Emma met me at the door, her face streaked with tears and exhaustion. Behind her, I could see Tyler sitting at a kitchen table, methodically arranging and rearranging a deck of cards while rocking slightly in his chair. His self-soothing behaviors indicated he was overwhelmed but trying to cope with the sudden environmental changes. "David, Tyler keeps asking when we can go home. He doesn't understand why we had to leave so quickly, or why federal agents are protecting us." Agent Kim introduced me to Agent Jennifer Walsh, a specialist in crimes against individuals with disabilities. "Mr. Chen, I've been working with Tyler for the past 2 hours, helping him understand what's happened and what we need from him moving forward. Tyler is remarkably resilient, but he's struggling with the concept that someone he trusted could deliberately hurt him." I approached Tyler carefully, knowing that sudden movements or loud voices could escalate his anxiety. "Hey, buddy, how are you doing with all these changes?" Tyler looked up from his cards with eyes that seemed older than they had this morning. "Dad, Agent Walsh explained that Uncle Kevin stole my college money because he wanted to hurt our family. But I don't understand why Uncle Kevin would want to hurt me. I never did anything bad to Uncle Kevin." The innocence in Tyler's question broke my heart. Agent Walsh had clearly explained the situation in terms Tyler could understand, but the emotional impact of betrayal was harder for Tyler to process than the factual details. "Tyler, Uncle Kevin's bad choices weren't about anything you did. Some people make terrible decisions that hurt others, even people they're supposed to love and protect." Agent Kim set up her laptop on the kitchen counter and gestured for Emma and me to join her. "Mr. Chen, while you were traveling here, we've made significant progress in understanding Kevin's criminal network. We've arrested 3 additional suspects in Arizona and Nevada, and we've recovered financial records showing thefts totaling over $8 million from families with special needs children." Emma gasped at the scope of the criminal operation. $8 million? How many families did they target? 67 families across 12 states, all with children who have various disabilities. Kevin's role in the network was specifically to identify and infiltrate families with substantial special needs savings accounts. He was considered one of their most effective recruiters because of his ability to gain long-term trust. Agent Walsh showed us a timeline of Kevin's criminal activities stretching back 4 years. "Kevin Rodriguez has been systematically targeting families like yours since 2021. He's married 3 different women specifically to gain access to their disabled relatives, and he's stolen from every family he's infiltrated." The revelation that Kevin had married Sarah as part of a criminal strategy, rather than out of genuine affection, added another layer of betrayal. Sarah wasn't just Kevin's accomplice. She was another victim who'd been manipulated into providing access to our family. Does Sarah know about Kevin's other marriages? Sarah Chen has no knowledge of Kevin's true identity or his criminal history. She genuinely believed she was married to a financial advisor named Kevin Rodriguez. His real name is Bradley Hartwell, and he has convictions for fraud in 3 states dating back to 2018. Tyler had been listening to our conversation while continuing to organize his cards. Dad, if Uncle Kevin's real name is Bradley, does that mean everything he told me about himself was a lie? Agent Walsh answered Tyler directly, using the clear, concrete language that worked best for him. Tyler, Kevin lied about his name, his job, his past, and his reasons for spending time with your family. The only true thing about Kevin was that he knew you were a good person who deserved better treatment. Tyler processed this information carefully. Agent Walsh, if Kevin lied about everything, how do I know when other people are telling the truth? How do I know you're not lying to me now? The question demonstrated Tyler's logical thinking but also revealed how Kevin's betrayal had damaged Tyler's fundamental ability to trust. Agent Walsh pulled out her FBI credentials and badge, showing them to Tyler. Tyler, I can prove who I am and why I'm here. Real FBI agents have official identification, we work with local police officers you can verify, and we follow specific rules about how we treat crime victims. Kevin couldn't prove any of those things because he was pretending to be someone he wasn't. Agent Kim's phone buzzed with an urgent message. Mr. Chen, Kevin Rodriguez, or Bradley Hartwell, has been denied bail. The federal judge determined that he poses an ongoing threat to witnesses and has significant flight risk given his history of using false identities. He'll remain in federal custody throughout the prosecution process. Relief flooded through me, but Agent Kim's expression remained serious. However, we've intercepted communications indicating that Kevin's associates are still planning to target Tyler. They view him as unfinished business because Kevin gathered so much valuable information about him before his arrest. Emma moved closer to Tyler, her maternal instincts heightened by the ongoing threat. What kind of information did Kevin gather about Tyler? Agent Walsh opened a thick evidence folder. Kevin documented Tyler's daily routines, his therapy schedules, his medical information, his social security number, his bank account details, and even recorded conversations about Tyler's future plans and vulnerabilities. This information could be used for identity theft, benefit fraud, or to manipulate Tyler directly. Tyler looked up from his cards with sudden alarm. Did Uncle Kevin record me talking? I told him private things about my feelings and my worries about college. Tyler, Kevin violated your privacy and your trust by recording your conversations without permission. But those recordings also help prove that Kevin deliberately targeted you, which will help us prosecute him and protect other families. Agent Kim showed us surveillance footage from Kevin's apartment. We found professional recording equipment, multiple fake identification documents, and detailed profiles on potential future victims. Kevin Rodriguez was operating a sophisticated criminal enterprise, not just committing isolated thefts. Tyler stood up abruptly and began pacing around the kitchen, a behavior that indicated increasing stress. Agent Walsh, if Uncle Kevin was planning to hurt other families like mine, does that mean there are other kids like me who got their money stolen? Yes, Tyler. There are many other young people with disabilities who were victimized by Kevin and his associates. But your case is going to help us prosecute these criminals and get justice for all those families. Tyler stopped pacing and looked directly at Agent Walsh. If I help you catch the bad people who work with Uncle Kevin, will that stop them from hurting other kids? Tyler, your testimony could help send Kevin and his associates to prison for many years, which would prevent them from targeting other families. But testifying in court would be challenging, and you'd need to answer difficult questions about what Kevin did to you. Tyler returned to his seat and resumed organizing his cards while thinking. Dad, if I testify against Uncle Kevin, will that help get my college money back? Agent Kim answered Tyler's question directly. Tyler, your college money is already being recovered through the federal investigation. Whether or not you choose to testify, you'll get your savings back. But your testimony could help protect other families and ensure that Kevin and his associates receive appropriate punishment for their crimes. Tyler arranged his cards into neat stacks while processing this information. Agent Walsh, I want to help other kids like me. Uncle Kevin hurt my family, and he shouldn't be allowed to hurt other families. I'll answer questions in court if that helps stop the bad people. Agent Walsh smiled at Tyler's decision. Tyler, that's very brave of you. We'll make sure you have all the support you need during the legal process, and we'll arrange for you to testify in ways that are comfortable for you. Emma wiped tears from her eyes as she watched Tyler make this mature decision despite his young age and developmental challenges. Tyler, are you sure you want to testify? Court can be scary and overwhelming. Mom, Uncle Kevin scared me when he stole my money, but Agent Walsh and the other FBI people are protecting us now. I'm not scared anymore. I'm angry. Uncle Kevin shouldn't hurt kids. Agent Kim closed her laptop and prepared to leave. Mr. Chen, your family can return home tomorrow. We've enhanced security around your house and implemented monitoring systems to detect any surveillance by Kevin's associates. Tyler will have ongoing protection throughout the prosecution process. As Agent Kim gathered her materials, she pulled me aside for a private conversation. Mr. Chen, Tyler's courage and clarity about wanting to help other victims is remarkable. Most adult witnesses struggle with the decision to testify, but Tyler understood immediately that his participation could protect other children. His testimony is going to be powerful. Tyler looked up from his cards one final time. Dad, when we go home tomorrow, can we check my college account to make sure my money is really back? Absolutely, Tyler. We'll go to the bank together and verify that everything is restored. And Dad, can we change my account passwords so Uncle Kevin's friends can't try to steal from me again? We'll set up completely new security measures to protect all your accounts and personal information. Tyler nodded with satisfaction and returned to organizing his cards. Despite everything Kevin had put him through, Tyler was already thinking ahead to protecting himself and helping others. Kevin Rodriguez had underestimated Tyler's strength and resilience, just as he'd underestimated our family's determination to seek justice. Agent Walsh left her business card with Tyler. Tyler, if you have any questions or concerns during the legal process, you can call me directly. You're not just a witness in this case. You're a hero who's helping protect other families from criminals like Kevin. As the federal agents prepared to leave, Tyler asked one final question. Agent Walsh, after Uncle Kevin goes to prison, will he ever be allowed to hurt families again? Tyler, Kevin Rodriguez is going to prison for a very long time. By the time he's released, he'll be an old man, and he'll be monitored by law enforcement for the rest of his life. He'll never have the opportunity to hurt families like yours again. Tyler smiled for the first time since this ordeal began. Good. That's exactly what should happen to people who steal from kids. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out.